Alright, round one. We'll play first. Yeah, we'll keep this. It's actually a pretty good hand. We got a black mana, we get to go Scoundrel into Cleric, which would be ideal, but Skyblade and Cleric still seems fine to me. And this is kind of what I talked about with Wanted Scoundrel, why it's such a good card, because it's good early, it's good late. There's never a time where a 4-3 is bad, really. Should always be pretty happy with that. This card's actually good against us, because we have the Bishop of Rebirth. Hey, there you go. Okay. Huh. So why is the question. What are they going to do to finish it off? I haven't figured that out yet. Nothing. So why block? I'm confused. Okay. So I think we just probably bash with Cleric only. I don't really want to ramp them. And we'll play the Paladin here. Setting up for a really nice Bishop of the Bloodstained. Because we have Skyblade and Queen's Commission, so getting to the point where we can basically -6 or 7 life them, which is pretty exceptionally strong. Alright, Paladin of the Bloodstain of their own. Got it. Cobbled Wings, very good. So now we probably just start flying over top and dishing the damage out. I think we just get in here. We don't actually want to trade off our ground units because we have the Bishop of the Bloodstain. So it makes more sense to just get them to a nice low life total. So I guess attacking here probably means they have a trick of some sort. But I think we will trade our Paladin for a trick. Or maybe they don't have the trick, who knows. So we are letting them raid, but I haven't decided yet how bad that actually is. Okay, this actually is not the worst. Alright, so they got a Vampire Zeal. That's good information to know. But it's almost better that we got the lifelinker off the board then, if they drew a Vampire Zeal. So, let's see. I can hit them for 4. And I can follow up with Skyblade, which might actually be better, because it changes their clock. So, we're going to attack with the Scoundrel. We're going to play the Skyblade of the Legion. And like I said, that actually does change their clock, because They're on a 3-turn clock, but we can change that to a 2-turn clock. Now, granted, not the best use of mana, but overall, what we're looking for here. We're going to take 3. They get to use their Ruin Raider, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, if we draw a swamp, they are dead next turn. So, okay. They actually don't have white mana available to them for Vampire Zeal, and they just lost 3 more life there, so they're in pretty big trouble. Let's see here. So let's just bash with the Scoundrel and the Skyblade. That's interesting. So we can play Queen's Commission, which sets us up for a better Bishop of the Bloodstained if they were to gain life somehow. It also puts more bodies on the board since they're at 2 life, but they probably have to. Okay, so they can kill that, but that's not good enough. I mean, they can play the lifelink thing, but we just get to fly over top with our Cleric now, too. So they can play like Queen's Commission and leave up Vampire Zeal. But we could also just rip a swamp and win next turn, too. They really can't afford to attack because of Ruin Raider, too. Unless they just want to play it boldly and hope they get a land. But, so, wanted Scoundrel downside, I would say it was worth it. What did we end up dealing? How many points of damage with Wanted Scoundrel? Killed this on turn 3, and then proceeded to deal like 12 points of damage with this thing. So yeah, I don't think that 2 mana 4/3s with a downside like this are particularly balanced in my mind at uncommon, but I've been mentioning that for many drafts, so that is just the downside of power creep, I suppose. You have to make cards more exciting, but at the same time it changes the game dynamic. Okay, so opponent busts out the old Mark the Vampire here. So we'll definitely be blocking that since they don't have any mana open for the other stuff. So we'll block it like this. Get the Mark the Vampire dude off the board. They gain plenty of life. They get to raid. They have a Skittering Heartstopper. Okay, so could not for the life of us draw that second black mana in time, unfortunately for us, but we'll get the Cobbled Wings going here and pass. So we know they have Vampire Zeal, Queen's Commission. I think we'll just take this. Okay, so we know they have Vampire Zeal in the air still. Hoping they lose enough life. Nope, they got the land. Maverick Fane. is a thing. So we can attack with both of these. They're just going to block our clear it, kill it with Vampire Zeal, but still probably better that than lifelinking on their token. So we'll play Maverick Fane and attack with our dudes. So they'll block their 3/2, they'll use their thing, but like I said, still better that than gaining life from their life-linking vampire. And then we'll equip up Maverick Fane and pass. This is still lethal technically. Okay, so that's going to make things a little more difficult too because of the life link. Well, that's an interesting choice. Huh. Well, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's just block lifelink token. Let's get the lifelink off the board, I think. Because that way, you're still gaining some life, I think. Yeah, it's a bummer, but I don't know what to tell you. So still have managed to not draw a second black mana, unfortunately. Yep, very, very, very late. Very, 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 very late. Okay, so we can get them close to dead, but just not there. That's the problem. So how much are we going to get smashed back for? Probably too much, I guess. Well, let me think. So, play the bishop, I equip the vampire, I smash in, I go to 10, 3, 6, 7, 8, 11, well, I don't think we're dead if I just have the bishop as a blocker. Wish we gained life from this too, but I'm trying to think. So we play the bishop, they lose 3, they go to 3, attack with 2 in the air, they go to 1. Or do I want to leave the vampire back to block in case of an emergency? We may actually have to leave the vampire back. Or we could attack with the vampire. That actually works too. And leave the Skyblade back. Because it can still, like, block a vampire. But they might just finally deacon that up too. I don't actually know. Regardless, we're playing the bishop, making them lose their life. So close to lethal. But just not quite there. Just not quite there. Attack with vampire, go to 10. Have a bishop and a Skyblade to block. But what can they block? Basically this if it's not pumped, or this if it's not pumped. I guess that makes sense to me. Alright, we'll get our life. This way if they have a removal spell, we don't just die, but... Alright. Pretty surprising we got to this spot. I mean, I guess they have the Ruin Raider, which could be a liability for them. So they probably are going to pump their vampire, which means maybe we were supposed to keep this back. But I can't decide. We'll see how they attack. Alright, so they get a Seeker's Squire here. Yep, finally do it on their lifelinker. Which means maybe I was supposed to take care of that when I could. I probably trade a Skyblade off for their lifelinker. Then that way I guess I can maybe attack with my... I don't actually know. Kind of in a tough spot. That Slash of Talons really got us. But actually Rune Raider really got us. They netted a lot of value, and they just happened to offset it perfectly with life gain. It was Mark, Queen's Commission. So this thing on this, the lifelink vamps, so just perfectly offset the Rune Raider, which I think is actually at its best in this deck. I think some people would think that this card is greedy or something, but I would say if you're running a deck that has a bunch of life gain, it's pretty wise to use it. So let's see how we can block here. Why did I not re-equip? That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Huge mistake there. Huge, huge, huge mistake. So, I'm trying to think what's in our best interest now. I feel like we have to do this. 3, 6, 7, 8, 11. So we're just forced to block with more things, aren't we? Yep. Guess we gotta do this. Lose 5, please. Oh my god. Well, I didn't even see. What did they reveal? Bishop of the Bloodstain. Wow. Wow. That is incredible. Well, this card was winning them the game right up until the point where it lost them the game. That is incredible. All right. So mirror match. This is a good way to deal with Mark of the Vampire. It doesn't work against the Deacon ability though, which is unfortunate. Heartstopper kind of stops tokens all day, which I like. That is actually good. Kind of want to do that. It feels better than our X ones. Like, X ones help us ramp, but I almost want to cut like a Hoarder for a Heartstopper and just be able to stop 1/1s all day on the draw, or make them use a Slash of Talons on it, which is fine too. So I do like that. Yeah, and then Legion's Judgment would just be for Mark of the Vampire, which I'm honestly thinking might be a good idea. Like, I could cut, I don't know, a Glorifier maybe. Maybe I cut the Sheltering Light for it. Okay. Alright. Alright, game 2. Gotta mull this one. Man, that hand would have been nasty. Alright, this one's a keep. And yeah, you know what? We will leave the Interdiction on top. Like, it doesn't keep us busy early, but it's a pretty relevant removal spell. Because then we can maybe save the Judgment for a Mark of the Vampire and a Pious Interdiction for something else. Admittedly, we're not really staying super busy by taking Pious Interdiction, but considering our deck is basically devoid of removal, it seems like a pretty important spell to have. And certainly not like we don't have some sort of late game plan or something, you know? Well, we don't want to draw all of our 5 drops, but we'll see. At least Paladin of the Bloodstained and Bishop of the Bloodstained work well together. Okay, let's see how many they got. Well, I guess they would only pluck two. That's their only one. Okay, maybe they'll mark the vampire at next turn and we'll get lucky. Ooh, that's a relevant card to draw right now. So, really hoping they just slam that mark of the vampire on the Conquistador. That would give us a really good 2-for-1. We're going to block the Seeker Squire. Because even if they have Slash of Talons, we got to do some damage mitigation at the moment. I guess they could play the Cutthroat too, but yeah, it's a bummer. But what can you do? Alright, play the Hoarder, pass. So, they're going straight gasoline and we're kind of struggling to stay busy here. Hoarder seems pretty important at the moment. So I guess we probably have to play like a Bishop of the a Paladin of the Bloodstain off of that unless we draw a land. Then we can just go Paladin now, which is important. And maybe our own Anointed Deacon with the Vampire token can do something. We'll trade our Paladin for a Pirate. Some hot Vampire on Pirate action here. Okay. So, what do we want to do? So, we can play the Deacon, but then I can't really attack the Vampire because they're going to just start pumping up the Vampires. So, I'm thinking the play is just Inspiring Cleric pass. And what this does is lets us trade our token for their token, gain some life, keep some other stuff at bay. I mean, we have more gas in hand than them, which is good because we had a mulligan too. But they're going to be gaining some life, that's for sure. No play though, that's good. Let's see, another Paladin is a great draw because puts more bodies on the board. Guess I can actually attack with Inspiring Cleric. Should have probably done that first, but that's okay. No biggie. So we've got removal, we can deal with Mark of the Vampire, we can deal with something spicy we wouldn't ordinarily be able to deal with. We've got the Deacon, we've got stuff keeping us busy. I still think it's in our best interest to lose the lifelink, even though we do have the Deacon in the hand. We want the higher toughness. Alright, we can deal with a Grizzly Bear. Let's see here. So we can play the Deacon. We don't really want to trade either of these for a Queen's Bay Soldier, I suppose. So it may actually make more sense to play the Bishop here. The reason being, a 3/3 is actually relevant against a defending Queen's Bay Soldier. And even though this is definitely good late, if I play the Anointed Deacon, I'm not going to attack with anything anyway. So I think we play this because then we can actually start attacking with the Bishop of the Bloodstain next turn with the Deacon. Whereas now if they pump the Soldier, I probably just trade off a Cleric or a Paladin. Probably a Cleric because we can bring it back with our Bishop of Rebirth or whatever. It's nice having answers for Mark of the Vampire in hand. I definitely think that's important. Okay. So now we can just attack with the Paladin. Got some hot deacon on deacon action going here. Oh, I didn't read my opponent's comment. This is when they, I assume when they lost the game from that, that is actually kind of funny. Well, that draw summed up my Magic life, I guess. How ironic. I'm about to win, and then, yeah, you lose 5 life. So, we're gonna probably Pious Interdiction the Bishop Soldier. That makes sense. Oh, cool. So we'll go Maverin Fame. We'll go Pious Interdiction. Turn off the life gain. We'll buff our Paladin. And we'll smash with these two. And get our dude. Taking it all. I don't know why they're not jumping with the Seeker Squire. Okay, so we're gonna take this, and then we just Judgment it, and start to smash back. So I guess we maybe worry about Rallying Roar. We'll just deal with this now, I guess. It's actually good to pre-combat this, not only for Rallying Roar, but to make sure that it resolves. Because if we can't deal with this, we're going to have to defend against it. Alright, they concede. Okay, so beat the mirror match, which is good. Let's see if we can get there in round 2.